what's going on, everybody? This is Galaxy Nail 2 here, and today we are going to be reviewing this Thomas and Friends Motorized Multi-Pack. I got this off of Amazon because, well, for some fucking reason, my local Walmart didn't even stock the new toys yet, which is a big problem because of the elephant in the room, which kind of sucks. But without further ado, let's get this multi-pack started. How does it act like this? Oh, yep. Oh, this is interesting. In the promo, in previous ones, they didn't actually have James with his colo. I'm so glad that they actually managed to put it in there. It makes it really good. So, yeah. So we have... This is actually really nice. So you have Thomas with the blue truck, Percy with the mail car, and you got James himself. Let's go ahead and get these open or out of the box. Actually do feel really nice. Okay, and finally, oh wow, James is definitely going to be the hardest to take out. Okay, with all that said, alrighty, so we got the 3 trains out of the box, and honestly, they actually look a lot better than those promos from a few months ago. I'll say that. So, without further ado, let's go ahead. We got the instructions, but who even cares about that? Let's go ahead and get started off. Okay, so I got all the trains out of the package, so without further ado, let's go ahead, get started off with Thomas. So this is actually the most proportionate of Thomas of all time. It actually looks properly scaled than the others. Very nice. Although this wheel isn't part of the mold, I'm just a bit disappointed that it's not freewheel like with the other 4. It's so weird how it's just static. The face is alright. I mean, it's still a problem, but it has grown on me ever since. Definitely do not like this headlamp. It looks so out of place. The printing that they gave him is actually really nice. And I also really like how they molded the handrails onto him. It looks really realistic, if you ask me. And there's nothing on the back other than the headlamp being molded on, which is actually a really interesting thing. And you got this magnet, which is a big problem because sometimes it can corrode and sometimes it can't. It makes it unfunctionable with previous rolling stock, but that's the new motorized era for you because Mattel has this weird obsession to make both the motorized and the push along being cross compatible with each other instead of them being the same toy. I wish they can actually go back to the regular hook and loop system, if you know what I mean. Yeah. It does have its flaws, but I do think the pros outweigh the cons for Thomas. Very nice. Let's go ahead and put in a AAA battery onto him. I mean, you still have to find yourself a screwdriver, and this is actually a huge upgrade from the previous one because you have to take 1 AAA battery instead of 2. Okay, Here it is. Okay. Goes right there. Oh. My bad. Also, this is actually the first time since 2012 where the chassis is actually separate from the running board. That's actually a nice aspect. Okay. Seems like Mattel actually fixed the problems with later parts of these toys. Then we get ourselves the blue truck. Other than it's a blue truck, it's just boring. Wish it was longer. Don't like the fake out or tiny wheels it has. What can I say other than it being a blue truck? Yeah, that was just for entertainment purposes. I actually throw it in something soft so that it doesn't become, well, let's just say, too damaged because of all the plastic. And I do think that the hook and loop system is better than the magnets, and for one reason why the magnets are not good in motorized form. Just like that. Okay, next up we got ourselves Percy Mercy. Not even Trip, dog. So the face that they actually gave him is actually really awesome. I mean, it looks really nice. Oh, there we go. Looks really nice. I mean, it does fit the reboot Percy really good. I wish that they actually gave him a new mold for the chassis instead of it being, well, you know, that red piece part of the chassis. And they actually gave him this mail truck, and it actually suits Percy really well because Percy's favorite job is the mail. Just don't play too rough with it because the clicking can be, well, it could break easily. The mail truck is actually really better than that blue truck. I do like how the proportions on him look really good. It's a huge upgrade from the previous Percy we had. The magnets are the biggest flaw, but once again with Thomas, the pros outweigh the cons. Let's go ahead and put a AAA battery inside of him. Nice. Percy is done. Okay, finally we have James. Oh, James. It's probably the weakest of the three. My biggest problem with him is his elongated body. Yeah, that's the biggest problem. At least that they actually gave him a front pony truck, which is actually really nice. That's something that's also in the Motorized Gordon that I reviewed 2 months ago. Okay. I only wish this model is shorter, like with the other previous James models. This whole elongation actually is the biggest problem I have with James. Another problem I have is the fact that his buffer beam is too long. It should have been like same size as like Thomas and Percy, not just this whole rectangle ass. And another problem I have is the nose. I'll never understand why James has this pointy nose when it's supposed to be like a round nose. Other than that, I'm a bit mixed on this model. Let's go ahead and put the battery inside of him. Oh, and much like with Gordon, he's permanently attached to his tender. Okay, let's go ahead and get that battery installed. Never understand why the coal load is hollowed out. And here's James. Alrighty. Now that all three have been reviewed, let's go ahead and give them a test run. Already got all the trains to where they go. Let's see. Yep. Point over there. Let's go ahead and start off with Thomas. That was a bit awkward. Let's try that again. There we go. I was a bit better on that side. All right, Thomas is done. Now let's go ahead and do Percy with his mail coach, mail truck. Now the reason I didn't talk about the buttons is that they're actually a more realistic change than the they're actually a more realistic change than the switches we've been getting recently. And I do think that the buttons are actually a more realistic thing, if you ask me. Makes it more realistic. Percy does seem to have the biggest problem. I'm not sure what's up with it. Does seem to struggle, but he does seem to actually get on top of the hill. I don't know if you notice off camera, but Percy really does seem to have a struggle. Aside from that part, Percy really does seem to have a struggle with the hills, but he does manage to actually conquer it with or without the rolling stock. So just barely. Like, he managed to pull Thomas's blue truck and his mail coach. And I absolutely like that. Last up is James. Oh, James. does seem to work pretty perfectly. Let's go ahead and give you a start for the truck. Metal coach. Take a test. Oh, really? Struggle. Okay, oh, that's a real struggle. Hey, he can conquer it on his own. That's really nice. Alright guys, that'll do it for today's review. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.